Hi, this is your host Abdul Bhartia, and welcome to another episode of TFR Let's Talk. And today we have with us Narayan Bharadwaj, VP of Cloud Solutions at VMware, and Zach Smith, Global Head of Edge Infrastructure Services at Equinix. Narayan, Zach, it's great to have you both on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about VMware Cloud on Equinix Metal. You folks have been partner, for a while now. Talk a bit about your existing partnership, and then let's talk about the big announcement that you folks are making today.
So, first of all, VMware Cloud has been in the market for several years. It's our solution that extends to public cloud, private clouds, through our partners, etc. And we've had a pretty fantastic relationship with Equinix over the last, what is it, Zach, like 9 years or so, right, at least. And we've had several joint thousands of customers who've been asking us to do specific things. But our overall relationship has been phenomenal across a variety of areas. And we're really excited to talk about some new stuff today.
Yeah, well, I think we've been, as Narayan said, we've been working together between Equinix and VMware in a variety of fashions for since 2012. And we have 3,000 joint customers across our co-location footprint using VMware technologies through our managed service offerings that we have throughout the world. And also with our interconnection ecosystem, we're bringing things like VMware Velo Cloud and NSX to our joint customers. And so it's been super exciting going on this journey of helping our joint enterprise customers and service providers move to a interconnected hybrid multi-cloud world. And yet people just need so much more help. And that's what we're answering today is some of the friction points that we've seen in the market that we're trying to solve.
Yeah, so let's talk about today's announcement.
Well, today what we're doing is we're announcing VMware Cloud on Equinix Metal. As now I'm going to tell you, VMware Cloud has a pretty robust and incredible journey over the past few years. So maybe a best way to tell you what we're solving now is to back you into how we got here, right? So Narayan, can you tell us a little bit about like the journey of VMware Cloud and how you guys are seeing the world?
For us, VMware Cloud is the home for all applications, traditional applications, modern applications. And we have really established this in very successful partnerships with, especially with our public cloud providers. And that's been pretty phenomenal for us as we established that fully managed offering. Now, I think customers started to tell us that, look, that's great, but we also have so many applications in the data center today that we haven't migrated to public clouds. And so these applications really need all of those enterprise capabilities, the public cloud agility, the low latency support that many applications desire, the data sovereignty, and so many other things that they're used to in their private data centers. And so this really created an ask for us as we stepped back and we thought about this joint customer feedback. How do we create something meaningful against these set of applications and against these set of customer demands? And so this is really how we came up with this new service offering that's in the distributed cloud area, where we can bring the benefits of the public cloud and all of the guarantees of the private cloud, the assurance, the enterprise nature of what we do in the data centers all together into one solution.
Zach, do you have to add anything to that? It's like beautiful explanation there.
I think Narayan has got it pretty well. People are looking for that cloud experience. They love the VMware technologies and control plane and, enterprise guarantees that they get from this in managing their workload, but they need it in more places. And so what we're able to do with Equinix Metal, which is our automated bare metal as a service platform at Equinix locations globally connected to our interconnection ecosystem, is we're able to give this kind of digital infrastructure substrate and partner and pair that with the VMware Cloud experience to have this end-to-end operated platform for this distributed cloud need. What's really awesome is that we're able to bring this, and we're early on. What we're announcing today is, how we're going to get there and the offering that we're going to bring to market. But we're taking customer feedback and from our partners and whatnot, and really working towards building this experience to be really first class for how you get best of breed hybrid cloud management capabilities, and also the right high performance, secure, and localized infrastructure where you need it.
Can you talk about, are there any specific, use cases or customers that you are targeting with this offering?
So I would say that this is actually pretty in line with a lot of what we've heard over our joint customers over the past few years. Now, Narayan and I didn't come up with this idea to how do we create some new product offering. We were listening and responding to customer feedback to saying, I have these mission critical data heavy, low latency applications that are sitting either in my data centers that I want to bring to more locations in a interconnected colo environment, or need to sit between my clouds, or maybe I might repatriate part of my cloud workload. And so what we see is really that mission critical data heavy requirement, things like databases or machine learning or critical corporate data apps that need to be close to their users and ecosystems. And so that seems to be a very common trend. The other one is move to the edge. What we're seeing is a big movement of enterprises who need to reach their ecosystem and end users with lower latency. And so they have to put workload in more locations than what used to be the standard of maybe one availability zone or two different regions. Now we see customers saying, hey, help me go to 10 or 20 locations so I can reach all of my ecosystems in a low latency fashion. That just presents some challenges in terms of how to operate that, how to have that common workload portability, the security guarantees, your application policies. And that's where partnering to bring that VMware Cloud experience to these highly localized edge locations is really powerful.
Narayan, can you talk about what kind of VMware? You folks have a lot of open source projects. Tanzu is one of the when you look at what technologies will be available through this partnership.
Fundamentally, the VMware Cloud Solution Stack has all of our core IP. It has vSphere, vSAN, NSX, virtualized ARIA capabilities, all completely integrated, operated by VMware with low total cost of ownership. But integrates with just about all the services adjacent to it with our ISV partners and all of those things. And so I think as part of that portfolio, we have, of course, a lot of open source capabilities as part of that, right? Some of those come through our Tanzu portfolio. One of the really good things about this solution is it's a single service to run your existing apps and your modern apps, and allows you to pragmatically modernize at your pace. If you're a customer that has a collection of both, right? And most customers do. And I think open source is obviously a huge enabler, and VMware has many, many great efforts in there. Specifically, of course, our Kubernetes contribution over the last 2 to 3 years has been pretty phenomenal. And our investment in that area, including as part of this offering, we have a managed Kubernetes built in to the same service that's running virtual machines as well, right? So all of those benefits are just right there, right, in this new service offering.
We have been talking about digital transformation, modernization of traditional or legacy applications, whatever term you want to call it. How much you see movement is already there? Because there are a lot of folks that actually, you folks cater to a lot of companies who are actually 100 or 200 years old, the banks and a lot of folks. So talk about how much movement you're seeing is there, where we are in their journey, and how much more work is needed.
I think the industry, everyone in the industry, including the public cloud vendors and VMware and everyone, I think we all talk about how we are still extremely early in this journey towards the cloud, right? And I think that's a fundamental thing that we all align on. And I think if you look at just workloads running on a VMware vSphere stack, it's in the tens of millions. And I think many of those workloads really desire all of the public cloud agility, services, low latency needs, sovereignty, et cetera, that we talked about earlier. So it's still very, very early. And I think as we provide more and more options to customers, such as the new option we're offering, they get excited to move additional workloads to this model where they can get increased benefits than what they have today.
Zach, I want to hear your thoughts not only on this question, but I also want to add something to that, is that what are the bottlenecks? First of all, there is a shortage of talent. When companies do want to move, they don't have all the skilled folks there. These new technologies, sometimes they are at the very early phase of, like Kubernetes is moving in production now. So talk about, what are the hurdles? And then when you folks, get to VMware, Equinix get together to lower the barrier of entry, to make things easier for them so they can move their workloads, they can bring them to the cloud. So talk a bit about how much you're seeing. And then once again, I would also like to hear your take on how to make it easier. How are you folks making it easier for them?
Yeah, well, the way I would approach that is as follows. Like, this is a really special offering because we're bringing a really neutral automated infrastructure platform called Equinix Metal's, bare metal as a service, with this like amazingly powerful and consistent control plane of VMware Cloud. Right? And why this is so important is because it allows customers to adopt technology, as Narayan was saying, as the pace that they can do. And what we're doing is we're helping customers by removing a huge portion of the management experience as well as the physical infrastructure deployment and lifecycling, so that within a few minutes, a customer can activate dedicated private cloud infrastructure globally. This is a huge accelerator for customers going through digital transformation. Think what used to take months could take minutes to deploy your private infrastructure in the right location, managed by software and an experience that you're comfortable with. And so this is a massive accelerant for enterprises going through digital transformation. And that might have limited skill sets or different priorities or different amount of resources for applications and whatnot. And the second thing is you can interconnect this distributed cloud infrastructure to your existing applications. And so that means workload that you might be running in a public cloud, or maybe an on-premise or data center co-located storage device, or NVIDIA deployment, or co-location. And that allows customers to really have this benefit of a cloud experience, but lean into and appreciate the heterogeneity that is within most IT environments. And so I'm really excited about how we could remove that friction for global infrastructure access and that digital infrastructure transformation, but also be able to leverage the existing investments that people have in technologies like Pure Storage or Dell PowerStore, or maybe NVIDIA or some on-prem legacy application that is really, going to sit there for a long time, and that's okay.
Narayan, do you want to add anything to that?
I think that's really powerful, right? I think the coming together of some unique differentiators that only Equinix has and the consistent VMware Cloud story, I think it's a very compelling option for customers. VMware, of course, is a software and as a service company, right? We have stopped doing hardware. Of course, we're not a hardware company, but the joint co-innovation that we have with Equinix Bare Metal as a service, that really takes away a lot of the pain points that Zach talked about. It takes things from activities from months to minutes. I think that's really the simplification that we achieve with the co-innovation that our teams are providing to customers.
Now, I want to talk about, Zach, you also mentioned, we kind of live in this multi-cloud, hybrid cloud world. You folks, you both, you're known for your partnerships, with other folks. So talk a bit about the impact of this, engagement on, not only in today's world, there is no competitors, there are no permanent competitors, no permanent, partners and competitors. You compete with some, you partner with some. To talk a bit about the impact it will have on the larger, broader cloud ecosystem.
From our standpoint, look, we are a multi-cloud company. We've been saying this quite consistently, and we partner with a lot of our partner networks around the world. And the power of our software and the power of the partner ecosystem really takes us many places for joint customers. And so I feel like this is really well in line with the VMware multi-cloud strategy. And of course, with the Equinix distributed cloud relationship, we have some pretty awesome new things that we can only achieve with this partnership. This really furthers that choice and flexibility for the very, very vast VMware audience, right? And now they have one more compelling option to really think about as they think about their own multi-cloud journey. We have this data point that we always say publicly that about 87% of customers are running in 2 or more locations and 2 or more providers. And that's pretty startling, right? Even if you think about it from 3 years ago to now. And so that reality is already in the market. And we are just providing customers more and more choices as they navigate this multi-cloud world.
Back in 1998, Equinix was formed by Jay Adelson, and the word Equinix stands for equality and neutrality in the internet exchange. And so we take our neutral position in helping customers access different clouds, access different networks, access different counterparties very, very seriously. And so we believe this is an accelerant for, very similar to what Narayan enunciated there, a hybrid multi-cloud world. Customers are running workload all over the place. They're buying businesses, they're innovating off of best of breed, they're migrating workloads, they have thousands of applications. And what we're trying to do is remove that friction and say, how can we help you connect to those ecosystems and do so in a low-cost, high-performance way? By enabling this infrastructure substrate, what we do is remove all of this friction related to co-location and putting the infrastructure and life cycling it and getting into your private cloud software, and we're turning that into a really magical experience. And so I'm excited by what this does, and I think it will accelerate that kind of hybrid multi-cloud journey that our enterprise customers are obviously on.
Now, talk a bit about, of course, you folks have global presence. Where will, of course, VMware Cloud on Equinix will be available, and when, how people can sign up for that?
Next year, we plan to offer this service to paid customers. We'll have different phases of that. And so we're announcing the expanded partnership today, and we're very excited to bring this to market next year.
And in terms of location, we'll have this available eventually at every location that Equinix Metal is available in. Currently, that's over 25 of our global metros. By next year, when hopefully we bring this to market at the right time, we'll be in over 31 markets, well along our way toward the 71 markets that Equinix is active in today. So, we'll learn from customers, and we'll eventually extend this to the entire Equinix platform.
Zach, Narayan, thank you so much for taking time out today and, of course, talk about this engagement. And I look forward to talk to you folks again soon. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Bill. See you later.
Great to be here. Thank you.